Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for our third week, the start of our third week for the Rank Advancement Club. So you're 2 weeks in now. Exciting. Many of us are off to Amsterdam today and tomorrow. So I just a couple of points for that. A lot of your sponsors aren't going to be able to get to you this week, but they will next week because most of them are away, or every single one of them, I think, are either at Amsterdam or they're doing shows. So bear with your sponsors. They want to help and want to be there. Send them an email if you really need help, and but they will get back to you next week on stuff. Okay, so understanding of where they're at with stuff, we've had some great stories shared and some amazing things going on. And I just wanted to put, I'll do that in a minute, actually. I'll do that in a minute. So first of all, we would just like to announce, well, not quite yet. We just want to announce the winners for last week. Okay, so we had some amazing stories going on, and we had some, there were loads of people doing loads of sampling and some wonderful things with their sampling stuff. So we just want to announce the winner for last week was Mari Taylor with 52 samples. So well done to Mari. And that's actually Mari's picture on Facebook. I wanted to pick a funnier one, but I couldn't find it in the thread. So well done, Mari. We'll be sending you your more sample bottles, 72. So next week, if you can send out all 72, that would be perfect. And we'll be sending you 2 intro kits as well. So well done, Mari. Did you want to say anything, Mari? Want to do a little speech?
Yeah, I'll quickly say thank you very much. And I put it all down to you giving me the biggest kick up the arse last week when I said, oh, but I've done this. And you said, no, you need to invite them to intro parties and sample them. So I did. So thank you very much.
Well done, Mari. Thank you for listening.
That's what it's all about. You're welcome.
It is. But I also want to put a caveat out there for you, okay? Lots of you may feel overwhelmed that you can't do what Mari did, okay? 52 samples in 1 week is astonishing, okay? That is very, very good. Now, there were some people that came very close to that as well, okay? And there were lots. But what I want to share with you is that the majority of people got between 3 and 10 samples, okay? And that's great, okay? If you're doing 10 samples a week, you're doing very well, okay? So don't feel downhearted that you didn't win or you didn't do. The point of this isn't to win, okay? Obviously, the prize isn't amazing enough to go all out to try and win, okay? It's just about trying to incentivize and just to help you doing the right things with your business. Some weeks you may sample none. Some weeks you may sample 15. But it's all about sampling is the key to this business, okay? And it's not about sampling and just throwing out loads of samples. It's about building relationships with people and then giving them a sample for that relationship. Those are the key ones. So it's not about quantity. It's about quality, okay? And, we can just measure. This week it was just about measuring that for fun, okay? So please, people out there, don't get down that you're not Mari Taylor. Mari, this is her gift. Okay?
Yeah, please don't anyone think they need to be me.
Okay. And Mari, you've saved some of these samples up, haven't you? It's kind of all happened in 1 week.
Yeah, basically I had an event and I thought I could count, that would count, and then you quite rightly said no you can't. So I emailed everybody that come to the event and asked them if they'd like to come to the live intro class that I'm doing this evening on Facebook. So that's my first ever experience of doing that. But what it's also allowed me to do is to speak to each person, because they had to email me their contact details. So then I could say, well, what do you want? What are you looking for? And it's just allowed me to really, it's like really easy, build rapport with all these people who've been watching and following me for about the last 6 or 7 months. And I think that's another key point to make. I've been building since about last August, and I've just this month with the RAC Club decided to launch off the platform platform that I've built. So I think that's another key thing to say. This isn't, it's a bit like when you go on X Factor, this isn't an overnight success. It's about saying, I've been building and sharing and just building and sharing. And then eventually I went, boom, who wants to know more? And that's what brought all the people to me and enabled me to do such a massive sampling session this week. So for anyone else,
it's a bit of a perfect time
start
for you, right?
point. Sorry?
A bit of a perfect time for you, right? For this
Yeah, it was all perfect. But I just think that's another key point to say to people is, you know, this has been sort of 6-7 months in the making, and if some of us are just starting out, then, you know, great that we, like you say, we're doing 3 to 10, and we've just got to keep doing and sharing that with everybody and being consistent, and eventually everyone will start noticing what you're doing.
Yep. And I'd also like to point out that Rebecca and I have probably sent 5 samples in the post ever. Okay, so that isn't. So you can get to diamond by doing sampling in different ways, not how Mari's doing it or everyone. You know, it's very clear to do that. Okay, so there's loads of different ways to do it. Okay, so don't feel worried about that. Okay, now we've also got the best. Mari, do you mind muting your I think it's causing. Mari. So we've now got the best reaction, and we voted on it as a sponsor this morning. So we'd like to congratulate Caroline Brogan on an awesome story, Caroline. I wanted to put up some worse pictures because I found some great ones. Don't Google nudists into Google. That's not the best thing to Google.
Jesus.
But Caroline, are you there? Would you like to share your story from your own mouth?
Oh my God, it was mortifying. Yeah, so I was sitting there with my stuff. I decided to just be blatant and have everything out while I was drying my hair, and I thought, hopefully somebody will say, oh, what's that? And they didn't. So I just thought, I'm going to have to actually start this. And this woman was there, and she was all dressed nicely, looking like she was ready for class. I swear she didn't have her hair out of place. So I was like, right, I'm going to see about getting to talk to you and then offer you some wild orange or something to help you for the class. So we're starting to talk, and I find that awkward anyway. But as I'm talking and trying to make it natural, she starts disrobing basically, and eventually standing there completely naked, maintaining eye contact the whole time. And I'm just thinking, my head's going nuts, going, should I really be continuing? I've lost track of what I'm doing here. And it got really awkward, and she wasn't bothered. She was just like talking away, and she eventually put a towel on. But yeah, it was awful for me. I'm maybe just not used to these things, but I was just like, I never actually got anywhere with it. But I saw her again yesterday, and I was really embarrassed. I was thinking, is that her or not? Because funnily enough, I didn't remember her face.
If she was naked, you would have remembered.
But yeah, she did. She started bottoms off first, and I was like, oh yeah, hi. I was straight into like, oh, I'm trying to block it out now. Just like, but it was just like in my head, I'm sure there's a way I can still work around this. And I'm like, so are you going for a shower then? And she's like, yeah, I'm off for a shower. And she just paused and gave a really weird look and said, have a nice weekend. And I'm like, yeah, but see, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But I did force myself to sample a different person yesterday in the gym. So, and they kept their clothes on, and it was a much nicer experience.
Well done, Caroline. Thank you very much for sharing that, and thanks everybody for sharing all of their wonderful stories. That they give us a good laugh. And also, it's really great that we're all having bad experiences at the same time as having great experiences. So it's really good to keep it real, that it's okay to have bad experiences. We all are.
I'm bright red now.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you, Caroline. And we'll be sending you your sample bottles in the post so you can do more naked sampling.
Yay. Thank you.
That should be a hashtag, shouldn't it? Naked sampling.
Definitely. It's the future.
And then, Robin, are you on? Do you want me to share the story, or would you like to share it?
I'll share it.
Okay, so Robin won't win a prize because this one is too good. Okay, so this isn't a bad one, but this one is awesome. So go on, Robin, share it with us.
So I don't know about you guys, but I tend to like I don't automatically see situations for sampling. It's not something like I've had Emily nudge me when I'm telling her about someone I know who's suffering from something. Emily would be like, so you sampled them, right? And I'm like, oh, it doesn't really occur to me. My husband apparently is better at this though. So we went to a dinner party on Saturday night, and my husband loves Intune, and he uses it before work. And I think he must have put it on Saturday just sort of automatically. Anyway, so it's, you get to someone's house and he doesn't know the woman who was cooking, the hostess. He doesn't know her terribly well. She's a friend of mine, but as you do the sort of the hug and the kiss on the cheek when you arrive. And so I hugged her and her husband, and then my husband did too. And so she did the kind of the polite kiss on the cheek, sort of half hug that you do with, like a guy you don't know that well. And then she reeled back and she goes, oh, you smell so good. And I swear to you, she threw her arms around his neck, buried her face in his neck, and started moaning and sniffing. And like, like really going for it, like drinking in the smell of him. And so his face was classic because he's not a guy who, I don't know, this is not his normal sort of, I hope, operation. And of course I'm realizing that it's the Intune she's smelling. And so does Richard. And he was like, oh, that's my essential oil. And proceeds to, like, while she's still moaning and sniffing on him, is telling her how amazing it is. She totally had a scentgasm, a nosegasm on my husband. And he was just like, did not miss a beat, and was like, absolutely, like, I use it at work. It really helps me stay calm and focused, and will totally give you a sample to try. And so I got home and was like making up a rollerball. I'm like, really, I wanted to kick her in the shins and be like, get off my husband. But nope, instead we're like going for the clothes. So, put it on your husband next time, maybe.
Yeah, so good. As long as she buys a kit, it's all right, yeah?
Right, exactly. She's like, my birthday coming up, maybe my husband will buy me the, Intune. And I was like, okay. But my husband is so much better as a natural salesman. I would have just been like, weirdo, get off my husband. But Richard was like, let's sell. It's great.
Thank you very much for sharing, Robin. That's brilliant. Okay, so now we're going to be hearing from the lovely Kathy, who is going to be talking about fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. So over to you, Kathy.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm feeling fearful right now, so I'm trying not to look at how many people are on here. But yes, thanks everyone. And I just wanted to, before I kind of go into this, I just wanted to say, guys, on this program, the Rank Advanced program, it's amazing. It's amazing that you've got this opportunity. It's amazing that you've signed up and you're going for it. It's going to help you so much. And when I was starting out, I would love to have done something like this. So it's such a great opportunity, and well done you all for doing it. And I also just want to say, before I start, I have a 4-year-old on the loose. So I'm just keeping it real this morning, and hopefully he's going to let me just get on with it. So really, why was I asked to do this? Because this sums me up, basically. It's pretty close to my heart. When I first enrolled back in January of last year, the oils arrived into my life because my son really needed them, and we had an amazing result with them, and the business came really as a second thing, but it was something I knew straight away as I enrolled. I knew that I wanted to do this business. But I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't worked for 8 years since I had my first baby, and then I had another one, and life had kind of got really hectic and hadn't really worked. And I thought, well, this was an amazing challenge. It was an amazing business. I could see the oils are just fantastic. Like I said, we'd had an amazing experience with them within our own family. And I was just so driven right from the word go to succeed at this. However, I had massive fears. I was the kid at school who fainted in assembly when I had to get up and talk, and I couldn't do it, and everything just goes black. That's me, and I'm not joking. The 4-year-old. Thanks. It's raining. Okay, everyone. We're just keeping it real, as I said. No. Nathan, carry on.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would take over.
I'm back.
Go on, Kathy.
So basically, I just decided that I've just got to dive in, go for this. Everyone's saying hello, okay?
Not 1,000 people.
There's not 1,000 people, but you go play. I did warn you. Anyway, so I decided to just go for it. And what I did was I attended every training, I soaked it all up, I learned about the oils, I used all the oils, and my lovely, lovely upline and really good friend Emily was there. She guided me through this first bit, and she booked in dates. That was the thing, I think, for me, right in my early days, was booking in that first date. And I actually had 3 classes booked in. And then Emily turned around and said that Rebecca was coming as well. And so I had both Emily and Rebecca coming to the Isle of Wight for a whole 2 days and 3 classes. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's in 5 weeks. And so I had to do it. It was make or break, really, in my head. I was like, I'm not going to let them down. I don't want to let myself down. So what did I do? I followed the process. I learned everything. Just like I said, I lapped it all up, did all the training. I sampled everybody and I filled those rooms. My first 3 classes were, it was a delight. But in the background, inside my head, was this awful fear of, oh my goodness, I can't do this. I just can't do it. So I had no choice. They arrived on the ferry and it was just like getting closer and closer. But basically, my point is that I think had I not booked it in, or had Emily and Rebecca not said they were coming, both of them, I maybe would have postponed that first class or just put it off till next month. Or I just need to learn a bit more. And I think there's a whole lot to learn from that. And I still do it now. It's just book it in, and then lead up to that point. Because if you don't, you've got nothing solid to work towards. And so just very briefly, my first class was a lot of tears from me. Okay, I cried. I didn't faint, but I did cry a lot throughout my class, for 2 reasons actually. One reason was nerves, just pure simple panic. In my head I was thinking, what am I doing? And I had my notes, I read them out, I managed to do it, and I still read my notes, I still refer to them. But my other reason for crying a lot was I actually felt quite overwhelmed, but really because of what had happened with Kit and the oils, and we'd had an amazing experience and I was sharing that with everybody. But also it was kind of like the excitement, it was just like this big overwhelming feeling of just passion, I suppose, about the oils, and it was quite raw, I suppose, with hindsight. And so I had these 2 lovely mentors of mine with me, and they really, really helped. And I just did it, and I pulled it off, and I got 17 enrollments in my first month. And yeah, it's amazing. So really, I have to say, if you're having those worries yourself, don't listen to it. Just dive in anyway. And so I'm just going to go through these little slides I've made now. And what I decided to do is put together the top 5 fears and try and address with you how to avoid them, really. So number 1, I can't talk in front of people, which I've just shared with you, really. But basically, just always focus on the fact in the back of your mind that everybody in that room in front of you has chosen to walk through that door. They have chosen you. They have chosen to come. They've chosen to come and learn what you've got to teach them. And it's so exciting for them. They don't know what they're walking into, really. Yes, they've had their samples, and yes, they've hopefully had a lovely experience with them. But at the same time, they're coming to learn and be empowered themselves. So I really now, down the line, having done I don't know how many classes, ride that wave with them and feel that empowerment for yourself and the excitement in the room. And as well as this, I just would like to add that through my journey of doing this in the last probably 16 to 18 months, I couldn't talk at the beginning. I found it so difficult, like I just said. But over this time I've been doing it, or today, there's 42 of you on here, so that's good, right? I hope I'm making sense. And also, Nathan and Rebecca asked me to get up and do a little talk in Northampton at the summit, which I don't know why I said yes, to be honest, but I did. It was just feeling that fear, and I just said yes because I wanted to share the story about Kit. Actually, what happened when I got up, I had a microphone thrust into my hand and everything went slightly black, but I still stayed there and I tried to get my story across. But, you know, I still have that slightly. So, next slide, Nathan, please. Another common fear, I think, and this is coming from feedback from my team and from me personally and just general reading around, is I can't sample people. Yes, you can. It's really just focus on them. Think, like we say in the trainings, who can I help? You focus on them, and maybe you're going to change their health or change their day to day, change their mood, change their month. You know, it's just going to focus on them. You're offering them an alternative, and also it's more than that. You're offering them, you know, some kindness and, you know, some care for them. It's like I always say to the people on my team, it's really about nurturing people. These oils I feel have nurtured me. They've given me such a big personal development that I really enjoy sharing that with people and really putting an arm around people's shoulders when they need it and offering them something that's amazing. And, you know, trust in the oils. We know they're amazing. All of us are here because we know that, and share that with people. And, you know, don't focus on you not being able to do something. Focus on the person who's going to receive it. Number 3, I won't get enough people coming to the class. This is something that we're all faced with, and I think Nathan is the person who told me right at the beginning, is actually you're not really a true doTERRA business builder until you've had the class when no people come. So that happens to everyone. It's happened to me probably twice now. It's horrible, but don't worry, you just have to battle through it. So what I've put here is just trust in this structure that we're all teaching you. We're here, you know, mentoring you through. Trust in it because it works. It really does. Sample people, like Sarah was saying last week, and follow it up. Invite them to your classes, invite them to a one-on-one, whatever that invite to is, do it and follow that up and nurture them and look after that. And then repeat. It sounds so simple, right? But I think also you can create like a lovely vibe around your class. You can invite in so many different ways, whether you make up little postcards or you do an online invite, an email, a text. I think always the best is a one-on-one because it's really personal and what we're doing here is personal. And remind people that you've got your class. So it's just a case of following the process. And also the last thing I added here was create a positive energy around you, because people will be so drawn to that. They will want a bit of that. And there's a bit of intrigue maybe, or a bit like, wow, you know, it's a nice vibe. I don't know how to say that properly, but it's really exciting what we're doing, and just get people latching onto that, and you will get people coming to the class. And one of my builders, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, she thought she wouldn't get people to a class, and this week she's sold out her class. She's been selling tickets to the class only for £5 to cover the cost of the room, and yeah, it's sold out. So it's amazing. It's amazing what you can do when you just put it out there.
And they're all cold contacts, aren't they?
And they're all cold contacts as well. So yay, Debbie.
Debbie.
Yeah. It's exciting. Okay, so next, number 4, I think this is a really big one, and it was one that really played on my mind when I started, is I don't have time for this. I don't have time to fit it in my life. And I think my first point here is acknowledge that you're starting a new business venture, and it is going to take some of your time. Acknowledge that. But when you start this process and you have your upline, the person who enrolled you and your mentor, they would have had that conversation with you about how much time do you have to give to this business. And we will guide you. And if you haven't had that conversation, do have it, because it will guide you down the right path of what you want to achieve with this. And we all know, it's as big as we are prepared to put effort into it. We're going to get back what we put into it. So if you can spare 5 hours a week, then you can do this business. If you can give more, then your business will grow quicker and bigger, and you will achieve more quickly. But yeah, do acknowledge that, because it does, it is a new thing that you're going to be doing, but it's exciting. Schedule your time wisely and be proactive with your time. And I think this kind of goes back to what Nathan was talking about before, like, don't worry so much about the frills and don't worry so much about pretty things, but they do make a nice kind of addition if you've got time. And the Facebook things and all of this and the social media, again, they really help if you have time, but they're not the things that are going to earn you money, get you enrollments, and basically grow your business. And so what you need to do, again, it's about nurturing relationships with people, and whether those people are cold contacts or your warm contacts. So refer back to your list again. Make sure you've sampled them all. Make sure you've invited them all, and look after them. That's the best bit of advice I can give, is grow those relationships. That's where the time is best spent, I think. People may disagree. And then last point here is to make sure that you allow a little bit of time for you and your family in this whirlwind of doTERRA, because it is such a lovely whirlwind. I think we all get slightly addicted to it. It's lovely, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, our families, and for ourselves to have a better life. And so make sure you do schedule in a little bit of off time, even if it's just for a Sunday afternoon. Okay, and so number 5, I worry about talking about the business. And just quite simply, don't. Again, it goes back to focusing on the other people, but not yourself. You're going to change people's lives with this business. If someone starts showing interest at a class or in just one-on-one chats with you, really tell them everything you know, share your experience and share how much. Like for me personally, it's changed my life so dramatically. I can now talk to people like this, and that's a big deal. But also financially, of course, I'm bringing money into our family pots, and we haven't had very much money for a lot of years. So it's a massive difference for us. And for me, we're just always growing. It's always growing, and so we can offer that to other people, and it will. That relationship starts then when they ask you about the business, or maybe you drop into the end of your class a little snippet about how amazing this business is, or how you're looking for someone to join your team, or it's up to you how you do it. I always recommend doing it quite naturally and let it develop organically. But then when somebody does show interest, which all of you have because you're here, then you'll relate to this. It's like that conversation, those first conversations with someone about how exciting all of this is. It's how your business is going to grow and theirs, and so it goes on. And I just that's all I can say on that subject. Is just don't hold yourself back on that. It's exciting. And again, it goes back to the sampling of helping others. It's not just about you. So I hope that all makes sense. I feel like I did it a bit quick.
No, thank you, Kathy. That was brilliant. You're supposed to do it quick. So,
okay, good. There we go.
Good. That was brilliant, Kathy. And Kathy's come a long way in her process. She's always been amazing, but it's the biggest personal development thing, really, doTERRA is for everybody. Rebecca will tell you about that. I can share with you stories about Bex. Do I do that right now, babe? No, I'm just kidding. So thank you very much, Kathy. So the weekly challenge this week is to share the biggest fear that you overcome this week. So what this week is all about is we want you to be thinking about what you struggle with. What is holding you back in this business? It might not be one of these 5 things, okay? And that's okay. There's probably lots of other things, okay? But find out what is your biggest fear. You may have several, but concentrate on the one, your biggest one. And then what we want you to do is we want you to work out this week how you can overcome that, okay? And what we mean by overcome it is try and address it and have an outcome from it, bad or good, okay? And we would like you to share that with us, okay? And what we'd love to hear is, because for you, you might think that this is not a big deal to most people, but it is a massive deal to you. If you could just explain why it's a big deal to you, so we can kind of gauge, okay, this may not seem like a big deal, but to her, it is a massive deal. We get that. And that goes a long way to overcoming the block as well. And then we want you to share with us the outcome of it, whether it was good or bad. And then the top 3 will win a book. So a personal development book, you can choose between the One Thing, GoPro, or the Slight Edge, okay? So this week, we want you to be continually doing your money-making activities. Do not be distracted. That is what you're doing throughout the whole process. So don't stop sampling, okay? Don't stop in those things. You're not just doing this one thing this week, but this week is you're looking at how to overcome your blocks. Okay, do we have any questions on that?
Nathan, can I just add something?
Yes.
I forgot. I just wanted to say that, you know, through all of these fears that we may have, all of us who are your mentors in this program, we've all been there. We've all had those fears, and some of us still have them, and like blocks of our own maybe. And we're all here as your mentors, and therefore talk to us, like lean on us. We can support you. We're all normal. We can help you through. If you do have blocks or worries or fears, then that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kathy. So if any of you need to go now, then go. We're going to open up to talks. Just one last thing that I'd like to say is lots of you love the rank advancement sheet and lots of you hate it, okay? So let me just quickly explain to you about the rank advancement sheet and the purpose of it so you can understand why it's there, okay? It is not something to be overwhelmed by. All it's there is a guide, okay? The whole point of the program is that you can rank, okay? And this is your choice, okay? You can go for it slower than this by all means, you know. The purpose of the rank advancement program is to help people that want to do it in the 3-month process to have a support network and to be inspired and motivated throughout the process. If you don't have the time or don't want to do that, then that is absolutely fine, okay? No problem whatsoever. And so you can go about doing it at your own pace. So you can still take part in these trainings. That is absolutely fine. We just want you to be aware that you're not going to rank at the end of it. So we don't want you to be disincentivized by that, because we want you to just be aware of that, okay? So everyone can join in, and that's fine. The purpose of the rank advancement sheet is to show you where you're missing so that at the end of the day, you can rank, okay? So it will show you where your efforts are being placed and whether or not you need to up it or whether you are actually on target. That is the whole point of it, nothing else. It's not to drive anything else. It's literally just to see, okay, how many classes do I need to do? How much sampling do I need to do? And then you go about and do it. Does that make sense? That's what the purpose of it is there for, okay? If you really hate it, talk to the sponsor and help them to get you to fill it in, because it is a really great way to help steer what you're doing, okay? So that's my only point on that. And there's loads of great things that you're all doing. So thank you very much for everything. I'm going to stop the recording now and then open up the questions.